Goodness. Took 5 minutes just to see who was here. So many unidentifieds. Okay, mute. Here comes everyone. So if everyone would stay muted, that will help. And there'll be people connecting quickly, and then people who may take a few minutes to connect. And I'll be repeating myself until I'm pretty clear that most people are connected. Good morning. My name is Judge Person. I do welcome everybody to court this morning. Want to give you a little bit of information before we get started. And I want to confirm folks who are here. If you're not supposed to be here, we'll try to work you in. If you don't have business with the court, you're welcome to watch on YouTube. Let me just kind of confirm a bit. Young lady, and I'm just asking one person for an unmute on an iPhone. Let's see, you've got hooped earrings. If you could, yes, hi, I think you're seeing me. Could you let me know your name, please, ma'am?
Rhonda Henry. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Miss Henry, thank you so much for unmuting. Now I can see who you are, and I will just give that name for this hearing, and it won't change anything long-term. And what we'll do is just ask you to unmute till it's your turn. We'll be with you soon. And thanks for letting me know who you are.
Okay.
And then there's a person named Galaxy S10, young lady, black t-shirt, maybe nice shirt. Yes, could you tell me your name, please? Well, you unmuted. Could you give me your name?
Janet Larson.
I have that, Ms. Larson. Thank you very much. This one is labeled Galaxy S10.
That's Obi Falkenberg.
Yes, what's your name?
Obi Falkenberg.
Thank you, Ms. Falkenberg. And then an iPhone user, you have a headset on. And if you could give me your name, I've just hit you with an, yes, ma'am.
Faith White.
Ms. White, thank you. Are you driving or is someone else driving?
Someone else is driving.
Great, thank you. Ma'am, you've got a name, Murphy too. Could you just let me know your name? Black frame glasses.
Oh,
Yes.
James Etta Lewis.
Ms. Lewis, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Okay, it looks like I've got everyone. And so I'm going to give some basic information. Before I do that, the pretrial is the docket that's also meeting, and it is for those who have pleaded not guilty to their offense. And that includes, let's see, right now I have Richard Kirschke, let's see, Roderick Colbert, Salvador Pena Baez, Marian Alcaberry, Jeanette Larson, Ashley Borges, Rhonda Henry, Hector Sierra Ortiz. Y'all will be waiting, and we'll take one person at a time. You'll be meeting with Amanda Rice, who is here today. Ms. Rice, thank you. If you'll give a quick wave, thanks. That way everyone knows who you are. And, she represents the state of Texas in these cases, but that is part of the scheduling order that the court has for contested matters, that we have the online meeting. And I also want to take a preliminary matter. Mr. White, good morning.
Morning.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good. I'm not sure if you're aware, because it was not a motion that you had signed off on. I received a request or a motion for a continuance and a request. And I did notify Mr. Stapler. He's asking to substitute counsel on the complaint regarding Mr. Tucker. And I wasn't sure if you were aware of that request for change.
I became aware of it, and I'm not opposed to it. We were right there at resolving it, but I'm not opposed to Mr. Stapler taking over.
Okay, here's my problem with granting that motion, and I did notify, I believe, let's check and make sure we notified Mr. Stapler. I had asked Mr. Tucker sometime back to present himself to be fingerprinted at and he is still your client right now. I have not granted that motion. To be fingerprinted at the Temple Police Department. I let him know that I had an order waiting for him at the court, that he was to pick it up and take it to the police department just to be fingerprinted, not to be rearrested for this offense. He said that he would do it. He did not do it. And then I got your request. But here's the problem. The CJIS requirements for the state, the law now is that I cannot sign any order regarding this matter, this case, until those fingerprints are in that system. I can't work around that or make it be different. It's the law and I must follow it. So
Yes, sir.
I'm going to recess this matter in hopes that we can. It should not be of any cost to him. I will say that cost should not be the concern. The police department does know that. But and here comes Mr. Stapler, pay late dollar short. Let's go ahead and get him on in. Yes, great, good. Let's get him to connect because I very much want him to be part of the conversation. And let's get a marching order to go forward in the direction that all parties want. And I'm going to be rescheduling though, so that we can do that. Just waiting for his audio to connect, sync up. It's not happening yet. There we go. It looks like it's starting to. Nope. Okay, and I'll ask him, both he and Mr. White, to unmute. Mr. Stapler, good morning. Can't hear you just yet. If you'll unmute, that'll definitely promote things. Okay, great. I think you're connected. Good morning. I'm Judge Person. How are you, sir?
Me?
Yes.
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. I was explaining to Mr. White that I received a substitution of counsel motion. He did indicate that he was now aware of that and also that he was not opposed to the substitution. However, what I was explaining to him is that I still consider him on the case. I'm not able to grant that motion just yet. Mr. Tucker, prior to being represented, had been asked, frankly, had been court ordered to go present himself here to the court to pick up an order and go to the police department to be fingerprinted. That is a state law requirement on all accusations of domestic violence. That's just the law. And I'm not able to enter any kind of disposition on the matter without those fingerprints. That was explained. That has not yet happened. And I'm not going to be able to grant this motion until that happens. So I'm going to reschedule the case for March 3rd. I would likely grant the substitution, just sua sponte between now and then if I have the things that I need in the court's file to do that. The problem is this should not be something that we just delay, and it's an important matter. I know it's important for your client. I'm sure it's important for both of you as well. But on the other hand, I either need to get that done or I need to start a contempt proceeding because I did order Mr. Tucker to do that and it was not done. And I don't have an opinion on the case, but I do have an opinion about following the law. in my courtroom, we're just going to have to do it. And, that means getting that done. So if y'all could impress upon him, whoever's going to really finally be his representative, he needs to sort that out with you both. But the motion I received, one, wasn't agreed. So I did need to confer with Mr. White openly about it. And two, I'm not granting it right now. Right now, Mr. White is the representative until I get that done. And as soon as I can know that that happened, then I can grant that motion and we can move forward. I would expect that could happen today, but we are rescheduled for March 3rd. And then if we need to have a hearing on the matter of who's representing, well, we can. I doubt that's necessary. But I just am glad y'all both logged in because I really felt like we weren't on the same page and we need to get on that page together. So if we can do that, appreciate it. Do y'all have questions or concerns about the matter?
Your Honor, it just, once he does that, actually resolves the case is what we've worked out.
Okay, so right now, let's see, and Mr. White, I got the request. See, it's not signed by either Mr. Tucker or yourself. And so, I'm not really clear about that motion. So I think what I'm going to do is let's make sure the court has what we need to operate under the law properly. And then, I think what I want to do is have this hearing on the record. I'm not taking action on this motion just yet. I'm not sure that it's right for me to do that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tucker, you need to get with Mr. White right now. And Mr. Stapler understands, he can let you know himself where you are in terms of changing. The court doesn't always allow that. And right now it's a delay. Now, if it ultimately is not going to get resolved through the attorney that you have on record right now, which is Mr. White, then I will entertain the motion of Mr. Stapler, March 3rd, 9:00 sharp. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, everyone. Y'all are good to go, gentlemen. All three of you. Okay. Now, just moving forward then, what I will do is just let you know a quick handful of things. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to the accusation. There are three options for pleading. There are guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Okay. Guilty means I did this. Okay. No contest means I'm not going to say I did or did not do it. I just want to move forward with sentencing. And not guilty means I want the state to prove the case against me. Okay. We don't have an innocence plea. The reason we don't is because if you pled innocence, you'd have to plead it. The state has the burden of proof at trial. Okay. So you plead not guilty, they are required to take the case to trial. So if you pleaded not guilty, then you're asking for a trial. Okay. So just be really clear about that because that changes the way that case is going to move through the court. So if you've pleaded not guilty, you have a pretrial Zoom today. And then sometimes you might have a second one that's by agreement. It's really convenience at that point. But we also scheduled your final trial, your final pretrial. And that's to come in the courtroom so that we can set your case for trial. I can establish a bond. There are a number of things that need to happen before we go into a trial proceeding. So there is a two-part setting, and not appearing at either of them can create a warrant. So if you can't make it to court, you need to give a written communication to this court, and I may or may not grant the motion. As you've seen just a moment ago, I don't always grant those, and I sometimes I can't. So stay in communication with the court. Everyone, that's true for everyone, but especially if you're trying to drive your case toward a trial, because there's a number of things that have to be done. And yes, there is a process. So I will break out that room in just a moment. Before I do that, if you've pleaded guilty or no contest, normally you're found guilty, you pay the fines and costs. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about that because not everyone is the same financially situated, okay? And there are concerns that I need to take into consideration. There are payment plans available, for example. You can automatically have 30 days to pay. If you need more time, you can usually get it, but there's a fee that gets added and you'll save that money if you can pay it within 30 days. That fee is a state law fee and I can't change it. The legislature has to change that. So I'll talk to you about payment options. Sometimes people can't afford to pay. Not that they can't afford it like they have a lot of things they're paying for, but there are folks who have unemployment happening for them. I don't wish that on people, but if that's happening, or if your job is not full-time and you're trying to get a full-time job, but it's just not there yet, those are the kinds of things, or people can sometimes sign up for payments and then they lose their job. Those are all things you need to be letting me know. If you something happens, like after you set up your payment plan, you can actually come to the court and drop me a letter at the window and I will respond. Just make sure and keep your email and your address and your phone number up to date until your case is cleared out. Sometimes I can make alternative arrangements to payments as well. So I think you get what I'm saying. I need the information or I don't know something's happening for you, okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is even where you plead guilty or no contest, there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal. And I just want to tell you briefly what those are and kind of quickly how they work. Compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and team court are all methods that we have that allow for dismissals, okay? So compliance are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed, brought into compliance. It's not everything that can be brought up to date. State law has to define that as a possibility, or I don't get to do it. But what I will tell you is that if you have a case like that, if I'm able to do a dismissal, I'll start pushing towards that dismissal option to see if I can get you there. And I'll do that even if you don't know the magic language. You know, sometimes people get nervous about court and they wonder if I'd known to say a certain word or phrase, would I have a different outcome? We're trying to not have that happen by me explaining all of this to you now. And also it's all on the city's website under the Municipal Courts tab. But as far as it goes, compliance cases are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. And I will tell you when you have something like that. I'll start trying to see if you meet the criteria, okay? You're welcome to ask if you think I didn't, catch something, or if you have a question about it, please ask when it's your turn. I'll be more than glad to answer what I'm allowed to answer. I can't give legal advice, but I can certainly, there's certain, questions I can answer. So just ask, and if I can't answer, I'll let you know. Don't worry about that, okay? The second option is called a driver safety course option. Has to be a moving violation. You can have that under certain circumstances. And again, I will walk you through it, see if you're qualified. If you're qualified and you want to do it, then we set that up. Now, let me just talk to you a little bit about that. And in connection with that, court costs and fines. Tickets here have costs and fines associated with them. When you get to Class B, Class A, and the felony courts, they also have fines and costs associated with them. And they have jail time and mandated sort of activities that are required under the law. Here, we don't have jail time, but we do have fines and costs. Okay, that's just the hallmark of Class Cs. People can be arrested if they allow their case to go to warrant by missing a court date. Okay, but otherwise, we don't have jail time associated with these. You're not sentenced to jail. You can go to jail for missing a court date. Okay, if that makes sense. It does in terms of your rights and the notices that are sent to the address that we have on file, which is another reason why it's important, because we do tell you before we do things like that. And if you don't get the letter, you might miss an opportunity just to let me know something's going on, So anyway, back to the driver safety course option and court costs and fines. Court costs and fines, when you are given a number here at the court, you're given a whole number, okay? But if you can break that number down a lot of ways, but one way to break it down is the court costs and the other is the fine, okay? and you're given the whole number. In the driver safety course option, and this is why I'm boring your time with this, is that you pay the court cost. The fine, it goes on hold, okay? And if you get your course done and your driving record turned in on time, you just pay that court cost, your class and your driving record. The fine goes on hold. And if you turn everything in on time and it's the proper class and record, then we dismiss your case. It's not on your driving record and you save the fine amount. So you save money. You do pay for the class, you do pay for the record. It will still be less expensive than paying the whole ticket if you pay for the driver safety course option and thoroughly complete it. And the reason for that is, and that's a take nothing for the city of Temple, which is what the law is, because we want people to take that class, because ultimately traffic tickets represent a risk increase. And whether you believe this or not, it's a verifiable, statistically true fact, is that when you get the ticket, you move into a higher bracket of death and dismemberment on our roadways. Texas is the #1 state for dying on the road or being dramatically injured. And every year too, we have the super number, which is young people. Young people are killed on our roadways, 25 and under, ages 25 and under, at an alarming rate. We are the super #1 group for that. So what I'm trying to signal to you is there's an incentive financially for doing the driver safety course option. If you don't want to do it, we can't force you, but we will save you some money. As far as what we do in court today and how we proceed, if you wind up qualified to be in that program and you want to do it, I'll be looking to collect those court costs, license and insurance. The court costs are not cheap. They range from $144 to $169. We'll look at when that's payable. We don't start the process till we get that collected. So, we can talk about when that happens through the course of the morning for your case, if you're qualified and want to do it. Okay, so that's the 101 on that. But most of us just don't wake up knowing these kinds of things unless you do it every day. The third option I mentioned was a deferred disposition, and it's really what it says. Deferred means a delay, and disposition just means to make final. So I delay making your case final. I accept your plea of guilty or no contest. I delay finding you guilty. I put in conditions that if you meet, you wind up, if you meet the conditions, you get your case dismissed. And really, that's an alternative way to gain a dismissal. What I'll tell you about that is, for a deferred disposition, there is a little magic language. Listen up and let me tell you what it is. Guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. That's it. You have to ask, okay? If you don't like the other two, I'm walking you through it. On the deferred, you're supposed to ask the judge. Most of us will represent ourselves in this kind of court. And when that's happening, basically what I'm signaling to you is, I know people represent themselves, and I want you to have the language that you need to be able to do what you're trying to do. So that's that answer as far as that goes. Just guilty or no contest, either plea, I'd like a deferred. And then the final option is team court. If you are a student, middle school, high school student, then I'm going to be trying to see if you want to do team court. And I don't have any better way to say it than I'll walk you through that process, see if you want to do it when your turn comes. I'm not positive I have any high school students this morning. I'll double check, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it until it's that person's turn, because it's too much information and I don't want everyone to gloss over before we get to your turn. So now I'm going to break out the room for the pretrial docket. And again, this is a meeting with Ms. Rice, and we're going to start with Richard Kirschke. Sir, could you unmute and let me know how to say your name the best way?
It's Kirschke.
Kirschke. Okay, got it. Almost close, but anyway, here comes your invitation to that breakout room. When you're done having that conversation, you're going to come back. You're going to click back over to this room so that we can talk before you're excused from court. I'll need to visit with you just briefly, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, and so it looks like he's going over. Okay, then I'm going to move forward with Asia Harrison. And Asia, if you could unmute Ms. Harrison and just, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Judge. It's Aja.
Aja, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And just reviewing, we had a deferred that we granted. Let me just check the status of that. Let me ask the clerk a quick question. Hold on just a moment. I don't see any prior ones. Is she on time? Yes, sorry about last week. We were frozen in, so
Yes.
the city buildings were closed down, and I tried very hard to get online and communicate that. And the only thing that Zoom would allow was for me to just cancel the meeting. And so if you receive that, what you wound up with is you couldn't get logged in. And hopefully that wasn't terribly frustrating. If it was, I do apologize. And for anyone that happened to, but we were told at the very last minute. So it just was a little bit of what they call a snafu. So, and she's on a deferred. Do we need anything for that? Okay. Okay. All right. And it was an accident. How did that DSC get on there? I probably required it if it's an accident. Because everything else looks really good. How many hours?
13 hours on that.
Okay, if it came from the prosecutor, she could have required it. If it was an accident. I doubt it on speeding. So, okay, I'm just trying to run down the details. What I wanted to ask you is, I think we were looking for some community service
Yes.
as part of the deferral on the speeding charge. And what's happened with that? Could you let me know?
Yes, in the statement, I indicated that not only did I have COVID, my son had COVID, and then just going from having a job, not having a job, and experiencing extreme mental health issues from just all of those dynamics.
Yes, ma'am. I can see that. Okay, so that was January, and we have a little bit of time. We don't have a bunch of time. One way we could solve that, Ms. Harrison, is to extend your deferred out just a little bit, add a little more time to it, and give you more time just to do those community service hours. Is that something that you think would work and fix the problem for you?
Yes, ma'am. All is healthy now. I've been seeing a therapist, which is ironic because I am a therapist, but I'm much more mentally okay, so to speak, within the last month.
Okay, well, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. First of all, of course, a therapist should see a therapist, right?
Yes.
You're not even taking your own advice, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, that makes sense to me. The second thing is you can, your therapy can count as part of your community service. I don't need to know anything about your therapy or even what it's for or anything like that. But if your person will sign off on the hours that you've spent there,
Okay.
that can be part of your 13 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's another problem solving. And then I'm going to make a new due date, which is right now I could put it, the easiest way would be to put it March 3rd
Okay.
and extend your deferral to April 12th.
Okay.
And just reschedule this hearing for March 3rd. And that way, if there's any additional issues, we can solve it.
Okay.
We had a driver safety course option. I'm guessing that that was financially a challenge
Yes, ma'am.
because, of course, insurance is not going to cover that one if you have insurance. So I'm going to waive that one due to what you've put in your correspondence.
So for clarification, Judge Person, that means I'm no longer required to take the driver safety course?
That's true.
Okay.
However, and part of my reasoning for this is the following. there's a new charge of theft, and I think you might know about it. I'm pretty sure you do.
Yes.
And we do allow, we have a first offender program. I don't see anything like that with you ever here at the court. I don't have a full background check for you, but if you will take a theft intervention course, do we require 8 hours? That is 8 hours online,
Okay.
and put your money there instead of your driving course.
Okay.
Then you would qualify for a first offender program that we have. And if I can receive that by the next hearing, which is March 3rd,
Okay.
dismiss that charge.
Okay. Theft intervention course. Okay.
So I'm waiving the driver safety course that you were going to take as part of your deferred.
Okay.
I am letting you know about your first offender option
Okay.
and setting that to receive your course. And I'm rescheduling the actual hearing, so she'll need to get a hearing notice. So that we can review things then.
Okay.
And then I'm waiving the driving course. And I'm giving you an extension on your hours for community service
Okay.
to 3/3/22, the same day as we're all coming back for your just review, okay? And that'll get you back on track and keep your options open, okay? And I want to know, and also we will email you information about courses.
Okay.
Don't wait for it. You can look online. But we should email that to you this morning.
Okay.
Or later this afternoon, okay?
Okay.
And any of those are already approved, but I'll take any online course. It's an 8-hour online course.
Okay.
It's going to cost you the same as the driving course.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
Outside of submitting my progress notes and treatment plan for therapy, can the theft intervention course also apply to community service?
not in this case.
Okay.
That's a great question. I can't double count it because one is on one case and the other is on another case.
Okay.
They're not related type cases, like speeding and theft are not related cases. So I can't, it's a great question. I can't count it this time. And I'm not actually allowed to count anything that you pay for toward community service, in part because community service has to do with the indigent status of the person in
Okay.
the court. If you had you may have had folks like this in your practice. If you have community service that is ordered as a sentencing.
Mhm.
So here what we did is I didn't sentence you to community service. I sentenced you to complete community service in lieu of making payment.
Mhm.
It sounds like word dicing. Words have meaning. And the reason why it matters here is it's not like something you may have seen a client needing to do where they need to do that because the court required it as part of their sentence.
Mhm.
The first offender program is a way to keep your employment from being impacted by a theft charge, or it could happen, to people kind of thing. It's not, we don't see that you're a person who habitually commits thefts. So we're trying to just get you back on track. So it meets one requirement that's really different. Otherwise, that's an excellent question and I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have further questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to let you go about your day now. And your excuse.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. I'm moving forward to Alfonso.
Good morning, Judge. This is Alfonso.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well. I did receive your information, and I know we have a couple of what are called capiases. It's a type of warrant for not completing a court order. I think in this case, it was just an order to make payment. These are slightly older. Let me just I have maybe a couple of questions. And I'm just reviewing your finances real quickly that you told me about. Are you still with Vivint?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, are you still with Vivint?
Well, Vivint, yes, ma'am.
Does your wife work?
She just started a job on Monday.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's good news. Your son, how old is your son?
1.5.
Okay. Does your wife have a car as well?
No, she does not.
Okay. Where is she starting to work?
She started to work at Starting Point Learning Center at the daycare,
Oh, good.
and
So-
they're just going to withdraw the child care out of her paycheck weekly, so it works
Yes.
out.
That's good. Yeah, I didn't see an expense for that. Do y'all have food stamps or anything helping you?
No, ma'am.
I'm showing that you could not make payment. So here's a couple of questions I have. And I can tell from what you described, your work is pretty involved. And this is going to sound like an offensive question, but I ask everybody this similarly situated. Do you have any jail time since these tickets were issued? Have you
Do I
had
have any what?
any arrests of any kind?
No.
Okay, because I can count time spent at jail. So I would ask for an easy way out of this. And the next problem solving question I have is if I order community service, I can recall your warrant and then give you time to get it done. I can work with you on the community service due date to some extent, as long as there's kind of some progress being made. So I would order it and it would be 22 hours. And I would start with 60 days to complete it, which is March 12th. And then I would just need your signature to recall the warrant that you know that you have the community service due. And I would ask you to come up to court to sign that this morning or sometime today. How does that sound to you?
That sounds perfect, Judge.
Okay, so 22 hours, that would cover both balances total, okay? And the due date, April 12th. If you need more time, the solution is on or before your due date, bring me what you've got. Drop me a letter that tells me what you still need in terms of time, what you think will do it. And I usually don't have a problem with it at all, okay? I don't really want you in warrant status. I'd rather solve it. So it doesn't matter to me if it's not fully done. I mean, I care about it. It matters in one way, but don't use that as a panic to not communicate, because that's very much human nature that people go, I don't know what to do. I think I'll just bury my head and wait for it to go away. And it doesn't, of course it doesn't. So what I want you to do is just keep the thinking cap on and get it turned in or drop me a letter. And that way we can keep trying to get it done. Okay. That'll also let me troubleshoot you. We're going to give you a list of places where you can go to do the work. You can leave the list, but it has to be a nonprofit. I've been running into a lot of problems with people, doing a profit. They donate their time, so they think that's the requirement. That isn't the requirement. It's donating your time at a nonprofit under the law. So I'll give you a list. If you leave the list, just what we call a caveat, a warning, make sure, okay, that it's going to count. Because I'm not here to waste your time. I'm not trying to do that. So come by the court. We will come by the court. We'll give you your packet. It'll have everything that I've just talked about in there, including directions and a timesheet and a list of places. And you'll sign one document, and then you'll be heading on forward, getting your cases resolved. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Contreras, do you have any questions?
Yes, I had one question. So the child care that my wife just started is actually a church, and they said it was a nonprofit organization. We're now attending would that work as community service?
So just attending, not so much, but if you volunteer and help and the pastor signs off on it,
Okay.
then yes.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Churches are always, and then, they may have something that is in attendance that they need doing. You have some skills, your job is a skill job. And that may be something that they need. Or there may be something else. But it must be you, it can't be your wife, and you can't get paid to do it or get a benefit like childcare.
Understood.
Okay, great. That was a good question.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, any further questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Are you gonna head on over now?
Yes, I am.
You're in your car. You're not driving yet, which is good because you can't drive and be on the phone, but on a video screen. Okay, we'll see you at the front desk shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and moving forward, I'm going to say this wrong, but I'm going to do my best to not insult you. Aisha Warren?
Yes, Ajacia Warren.
Aisha, thank you, Aisha. I think I have it misspelled on my sheet because on the screen, you've got it written down with a J and I don't have that. So I'm sorry I said that wrong. How are you, Miss Warren?
I'm good. I'm all right this morning.
Great.
Hold
So
on, baby.
I have a few things. There you are. Thank you for getting on screen. It's a little easier for you and me though. So I have, let's see, let me just look real quickly. So yeah, I received a plea on the fraud, destroy, or removing, conceal, or concealing writing charge. And you had pleaded no contest to that charge. That's alleged for January 12th, 2022. The fine cost.
I'm sorry, Ricky.
I'm not upset at all by it, but I want to make sure you're okay.
With no context, yes, yes, ma'am.
Two other charges. One is for a no insurance charge.
No, get the mango right now.
June 24th of 2016, a no insurance charge. How are you pleading to that charge?
Are you asking? I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you said?
That was called no insurance charge,
Okay.
June 24th of 2016. How are you
Okay.
pleading to that charge?
No, no content.
Okay. There was another charge that was a speeding charge from that same stop in 2016. How are you pleading to that charge?
Yes, I'm guilty of that charge.
Okay. All right. And then just 1 second, I need to check with the clerk. This isn't on my sheet, but it's. Okay. Okay, gotcha. That's what I was about to. Okay, and so then. Please. Oh, okay. It says that. Okay, we're good. Okay, I'm on the same page. So I'm making sure I understand the clerk's notes. And I was just talking to her for a moment. Okay, Ms. Warren, I also received information that shows that you had some jail time. And I'm able, the two older cases, I can time.
Get the mango. Get the mango right now.
Yes.
Get the mango right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay, the two older cases, I can time serve those.
Okay.
The new one, I can order community service. You have a toddler, I can tell. And how's your baby?
She's 3.
Okay. And I think you were working at one point, and right now that's not happening, but you have unemployment coming in. And
Yes.
that's of course not as much as you were used to living on. So I know it's limited. My question is, if I order community
Oh,
service,
that's the middle.
who was watching your toddler when you were working?
Who was watching my baby while I was working?
Yes,
Her father.
okay. Is it possible to do community service? And it would only be, it would only be 9 hours.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna give you 60 days because you have child care needs.
Okay.
And I'll need you to come sign for the community service packet. You can bring your baby.
Okay. Great.
It's just to the lobby, okay? It'll be,
Okay.
it'll be brief and quick, okay? And
Okay.
for you this morning,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
yes, can we look for you this morning?
Yes, ma'am. I'm headed right up there. I just left the dentist, so I'm ready.
Oh, okay, we'll see you soon, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Uckleberry, are you able to unmute and visit with me?
Yes.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine.
Great. So we have some cases that were scheduled for pretrial today and also cases scheduled for me. On the pretrial, you'll stay on the call, but we're going to talk about the other ones already because
Okay.
it's your turn. The one that I did have for you, for me to address with you is a speeding charge. And it has a balance of 279. And it was just community service that basically did not get completed. It was due back in December. And I want to get you back on track so that we don't head to warrant, okay?
Okay.
So were you able to get any of the hours done?
I was only able to complete 6 hours of it.
Okay, let me look and see what we do have. And we don't have that was turned in, so. where were
No,
you-
I wasn't able to turn it in. Yeah.
Okay, so that due date was the 7th of December, and
Yeah.
now the due date's come and gone and you're heading to warrant. I want to get you back on track. What were you doing the hours?
I did them at the nursing home where my mom works at.
Okay. And they signed off, the nursing home signed off?
Yes.
Okay, if I give you more time, can you get that done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna shift it to April 12th. And right now, it's just gonna say the 13 hours is due because
Okay.
I don't have those other hours yet. So I don't know if I can approve them. It sounds like I could, as long as it's a nonprofit and the person supervising you is authorized to do that at that place. And we'll email you that new time sheet that'll have the new due date at the top.
Okay.
And then just hold tight because Ms. Rice will get to your other 2 cases. There are 2 cases scheduled today for her, and they have to do with animals. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted you to know I am extending your community service.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. And you know, if you get to the 12th and it's not done, you now know the answer, right?
Yes, ma'am. Now I know. I just ran into some health issues and frustration. And so
Well, I'm sorry that
I'm
happened.
doing better now.
No problem. I'm sorry that happened. And then I'm just going to call for people that I think aren't here. I did have a phone caller. That one went away. But I'm kind of done with my portion of the docket. of course, I'm not going anywhere because everybody's case is important. So listen carefully. If I call your name, it's because I think you're not here. Before I do that, gentleman who came on, I was talking to someone and I brought you in after the fact. You're labeled K51 Reebok sweatshirt. Could you tell me your name?
Sean Tibbet,
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tibbet.
you're welcome.
Just stay on the call because
Yes, ma'am.
that pretrial is an open room with the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's in that room right now, so she'll see everyone
Yes, ma'am.
through the course of the morning, hopefully sooner rather than later. On Huckleberry, I just moved my file over to the other side and switched them out.
Okay.
Did you need it?
No, I got her in there.
Okay.
So you just have the order.
Sure. Yes, no problem. Of course you do. I did make that change. Okay, if I call your name, it means I think you're not here. And so you'll need to unmute quickly and tell me that you're here. Katia or Katija Leftwich. Let's see. James said Lewis, there you are. Let's go ahead. I'm realizing that I didn't mark you in, even though I know you're here. So let's go ahead and Ms. Lewis, can you unmute?
Okay, Your Honor.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm not feeling very well. I'm recovering from COVID, but I'm okay.
Okay, and I'm showing that right now you don't have, well, you have some income, but it's not the same as it was. And it's such that I can order community service. Obviously you're not well, so I'm gonna have to give you a wide window to get that done and hopefully in hopes that things, get a little more smooth for you. And
Okay. When you say get that done, what exactly do you mean?
so you do community service, which means you go to a non-profit and that is willing to do your paperwork, and you have a supervisor that is willing to sign your paperwork, and you get 24 hours done and you turn it in and it will zero out your balance. Right now, I'm putting a due date of April 12th, which is 60 days. It's 24 hours total. This will allow me to recall your warrant. And then if you cannot get the hours done on or before your due date, you would come in and, ask for an extension and drop me a line. Let me ask the clerk a quick question, and then I want to get your questions as well, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Did she have community service before? Okay. She can't do the paper. So, okay, so also, Ms. Lewis, just so that you know, the previous payment plan that you had, that's gone. We're replacing it with an order to satisfy those fines and costs through community service instead.
Okay. And so I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so I can still do community service and
You can do it in Albuquerque.
okay. And then I just fax paper in to the courts?
Yes. Let me just answer some questions you haven't asked as well, and then you may have more questions after that. What I'm going to do is email to you a list of places. It's not going to mean very much to you because it's local, but it'll give you an idea of the kinds of things. Then on top of that, there will be some instructions, and it tells you that if you leave the list, make sure it's a nonprofit and I will accept it. Okay.
Okay,
And then there will be a timesheet to track your hours that your supervisor will also sign. You'll fill in where you want, but you need to include the information that we can use to contact them because we do verify those hours. Okay.
okay. And can I do this at a church?
At a church, yes.
Okay,
As long as the supervisor is
okay,
authorized to sign for things like that.
okay,
So you're going to be the pastor.
okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
It does.
I used to live in Albuquerque. I loved it.
Oh, that's nice. It's
It was
okay.
great. It's a great place.
All right.
Yeah. I lived in Bernalillo, if you know where that
Oh,
is.
okay.
I
Right.
used to live in Bernalillo, yeah.
All right.
Long time ago, different life.
Yes, definitely from Texas. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people live a different way there. It's a whole different mindset. It was good.
Yes.
It was good. I liked it very much.
Okay.
I lived there a while. Listen, it doesn't seem like you feel well. So the email that we sent this link to, is that a good email to send your paperwork to?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then the court online help that we sent you the email to from?
It is good. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Email it back or you can fax it back. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can't get it done on time, apply for an extension just through that email. If you really have a long COVID issue that is not resolving, which we are seeing, unfortunately, we're seeing some of that, and I hope that's not you. But
I
if
hope not.
something like that happens to you, send me a doctor's note.
Okay.
Okay. All right. 'Cause I
Okay.
can make adjustments if I need to for medical reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye. Okay, just going back through my list. Faith White,
Yes.
okay, great. So let me just review quickly.
And I have like a quick question. This is like my first time going to court. There was, I think on the paper that you're looking at and looking over, when I went to court, they had told me to pretty much, I guess, just come to the Zoom court, I guess, to talk to you because I'm either going to have to set up either a payment plan or something, but no matter what, I still had to talk to the judge because I have no income.
Yes, right, there are certain things that clerks can't do. And you've been pushed into this meeting with me because it's something a clerk could not resolve. They just don't have authority. Which is
Okay.
perfectly fine with me, but I know it takes your time up. So let's see. I did get your plea on both cases. There's a no driver's license charge. The balance, if you paid it, would be $181. You've pleaded no contest, and then a no insurance charge. These are both December 26th of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
The balance there would be $281 if you paid it, and you have entered a plea of no contest. I'm ready to accept your plea. Are those your pleas today?
Yes.
Okay. And then I reviewed your financial situation, and I am able to convert over to community service. And in doing so, that turns into hours that are due instead of payments.
Yes, ma'am.
And it turns into 23 hours of community service
Is that for both
together combined.
both charges?
Yeah, both charges combined, and it becomes 23 hours due April 12th. And I do have something that is usually I have you come in and sign it because what I would send over is pretty big, and it winds up that people have trouble with their email. So getting it, receiving it and everything, and then they have to print it. So can we look for you this morning?
Yes. And where do I go?
So you come to the same place where you did your paperwork before.
Okay.
And it's just going to take a couple of minutes. You'll come to the window in the lobby, identify yourself. The clerk will have paperwork, one thing for you to sign, and then you're good to go.
Okay. And that's just going to be the copy of the convert to 23 hours of community service.
Yes, it'll include a timesheet, instructions, a list of local places, and a waiver that you sign. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
You have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll be heading that way here shortly.
That'll work. Thanks.
So am I good to go?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, just quickly. Katia? Mion Leftwich, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna try to verify somebody's community service. Oh, hi, Ms. Rice. Let's see. Okay, Ms. Rice, thank you. You were speaking with Mr. Kirschke, and are we heading to resolution or heading to trial?
We're heading to trial, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kirschke, we will see you on March 23rd at 2 o'clock here in the court.
March 23rd, 2 o'clock. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're in the building, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay, that's a pre-trial that's mandated. It's not a trial.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll see you then.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye. Am I excused?
You are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rice, advancing you forward, Roderick Colbert, I'm not sure, is your next person. And Mr. Colbert, where are you, sir? Are you still here?
Yes, it's Colbert.
Colbert, great, got it. So I will send you over to that meeting, and then when you're done, you're coming back over, okay?
Okay.
You might want to sit up. Okay. Let's see. Trying to verify some community service hours that we have been unable to verify. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that just moves forward as a motion. This is Gary Moore. I don't have him listed. Okay, no problem. The fingerprint for Mr. Tucker. Can we send that order? I already did that order. Can we email that to Mr. White?
Okay.
And just say the judge thought you should have a courtesy copy. So I don't think I have to redo it. Let me take a look at it. There you go. That would be the only thing I think might promote that one to complete is to send him that order.
Yeah, that I actually have another question to ask you.
Mhm.
Just to ask you, like, I need, email
Yeah, I wouldn't send it to the new one.
it. Okay.
He's not the attorney yet.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I'm signing it. I mean, if they're going to trial now. But I'm not so sure that that isn't being sought for delay purposes. Thank you. I do need to re-sign it. I'll send a new one because I don't know if the PD will turn it down,
Yeah.
but they could. Can we email MJ and let her know that
Yes.
the new one, and that way they have it over there.
Yeah, I usually email it over.
Great, perfect. You're so smart. Seriously.
This is the kind of why this person's showing up their window.
Mhm.
So what do you try to pick up the order or will you check it?
Well, I mean, I've ordered him to do it. However, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And that's a great question because since he's representing, but I don't think his attorney has to go with him. And so I think he can pick it up. But I would say, see, we can't email it to him because he's representing. And then a courtesy copy to the attorney and say, this is also at the PD already. We sent it to them. So your client can either come pick it up or can just go on over because it's there. Yeah. Okay, that's the new one. You're good. I don't need to. Yeah. No, it's, I have that attached signature on that one because it's not going to change. Nobody knew coming in. You're all waiting for a turn, so just stay patient, okay? All right. Okay, next. to see on bail if she would dismiss. He missed a court date, so I cannot. He appears in his picture and his DL to be sick. He has someone with him in our picture. It looks like she's helping. I just think he missed his court date because he's only 67, but if you look at him in the pictures that we have, he looks 90. So there's a health concern there that maybe means that he wasn't able to log in. I had a phone call that came on and off faster than I could identify him. And it could have even been him. I might be willing to even, let me look at the number. I don't know how you're able to get the phone number on there. But okay, I don't, some of them are on there and some of them aren't. Seems like more and more we just don't know. It could have been him. I don't see that it was anyone else. He may have even tried to log in. I just think we need to take an extra step with that person. Mhm. You know, about the only comment I've been online anymore is what happened even here. I think these warrants are still active and they can just stay active. No reason to take any other action. Ms. Rice, thank you. We were meeting with Mr. Colbert, and I wanted to ask if you all had reached a resolution or if we are heading to trial at this time.
We are heading for trial, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Colbert, we have you scheduled for March 23rd for your final pretrial at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then, okay?
All right.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay, see you then. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. And Ms. Rice, moving forward, Salvador Pena Baez is present, and just asking that person to unmute and get on screen and head on over to the pretrial room.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hello, I'm trying to unmute him. Can you hear him or can you see him?
I can hear him. I cannot see him.
I don't know how to.
Usually it means your camera is blocked. So we can do it orally. It's easier to do it with both voice and audio. But
Okay.
in any event, I'm gonna move you over to that room.
Okay.
There we go. I reset it and now it just sends people over. I'm hoping it makes it easier for them to come back over that way too. We've had problems with people not being able to figure that out, which I understand. Hello, Pena family. Mr. Pena, Ms. Rice. Hi, are we, did it break down or are we heading to resolution or trial?
We weren't able to connect, so I think somehow we got mixed up and we ended up back in this main room. If we could just go back, we hadn't had an opportunity to speak.
Yes, Mrs. Johanna. I think that do you be able to see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
No.
Okay, Mr. Pena, let's try that again, okay?
Okie dokie. Go ahead.
There he goes. It's interesting, he had asked for help. The trouble is, I would have to leave this room and go into that room. And that turns into a different problem. So I was trying to email them and I learned if they're in that room, I cannot email them or text them. They don't show up as being here. I can see them in there, but I can't communicate with them. So that's interesting. You learn new things every day. Have you talked to Ms. Stocks? Had what? Yeah, she did. She told me she would go like across the house and have to rest for a while. Get food, sit down, rest for a while, eat it, rest for a while. Sounded really rough. Different, I mean, perfectly healthy people, you know. My daughter and I were talking about this last night because, you know, she has autoimmune disorder. She made it through COVID just fine. Like I've been scared this whole time that it would hit her differently. And it didn't. She did pretty well. I think, you know, her boyfriend had it and he almost didn't know. And she had symptoms. So whatever they got a mild version. But she was telling me she has perfectly healthy people at the hospital that have never been sick in their lives. And I mean, it is like, bam, horrible. So I wish they'd figure that part out. Is how can we know some predictability? That's why I'm still masking everywhere I go, because we don't have predictability. And if I make somebody else sick, I could kill that person I don't even know. But she was telling me she's had a lot more people need hearts. You know, she's a heart nurse. And she said she had 3 yesterday. It was like stat, need a heart, transferred to another hospital to get the transplant. Just wow. Mhm. There's no reason. Ms. Rice?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So I was speaking to Mr. Pena. The state's decided to dismiss this case. And I will send over a dismissal after pretrial today.
Okay, Mr. Pena, that case is going to be dismissed and we will email that to you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're good to go.
Thanks.
Okay. Miss Rice, your next person is Miss Ockleberry, and I've already visited her on a case that's not before you. It's a speeding charge, and the only thing relevant to your proceeding is, you know, that's a community service case. And so just in terms of, you know, just knowing that could be helpful for
Yes.
both.
Great,
So,
thank you.
yes, Ms. Ockleberry, I'm moving you into that meeting room with Ms. Rice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, folks, we'll keep working. Just give me a moment. I have to get something and I'll be right back. I'm not logging off. Just stay put, okay? Can you get with her about it not saying presiding? It needs to say presiding judge. Yeah, I don't have to write that every time. So it's weird. That's maybe I'm one of them, because on this one, it's the whole thing is there. But I think it cut off. And put it on. That's for Melissa. This is when you love Ryan Turner. Look how much nicer this book is. It opens, it sits flat. You can really look at it. Yeah, it's very thin. And it's good. I love that. I'd love it if it was that mylar plastic. It's paper, so it will wear down. But yes, hi, Miss Rice and Miss Huckleberry. Where are we heading with the animal charges, Miss Rice?
We've reached resolution, Your Honor. States going to request to dismiss the no rabies shot charge. In exchange, Ms. Huckleberry has agreed to plead no contest to the animal at large.
Okay. And then Ms. Huckleberry, what that will trigger now is that I will add the hours on the one that is remaining
Okay.
to your community service order. And let me just give you that total.
Okay.
So let me put that order back. If you don't mind, I'll just put it on here. So the total number of hours for both cases will be 44 hours. And we'll just begin with that 60-day.
Okay.
But with that dismissal, it does considerably reduce because that one would have added about 50 more hours. So I think that's a pretty good deal. And I'm glad y'all were able to come to an understanding. And let's see. I think you were planning to come by the court this morning. Is that right?
Come by today.
Yes.
Well, could I come by tomorrow? I won't have when my mom gets off, it'll be late. Yeah, I don't have a car anymore.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay.
What time tomorrow?
Because I know on Friday she gets off at 2:30, so I could be there no later than 3.
Okay, I made a note of that. Okay. We'll see you then, Miss Huckleberry.
Okay. Thank you so much, Judge.
Thank you, Miss Huckleberry, and you're welcome. I'm going to let you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Rice, Mr. Larson, or Ms. Larson, excuse me, Janet Larson is moving into the meeting with you. Ms. Larson, are you ready? Here we go. Okay. Hi. I'm fine. We're just working court. Oh, yeah, we have a stack. Yeah, we're waiting on. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Yes. Okay. Ms. Rice, are we moving to resolution or are we moving to trial?
We've reached resolution, Your Honor.
Okay.
State's going to request to dismiss Ms. Larson's case. I'll
Okay.
send over a dismissal.
Okay. Ms. Larson, I'll sign that dismissal this morning. We'll email it to the email that we set this meeting up.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Rice, moving you forward, Ms. Borges.
So we can leave.
Yes, you're good to leave.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'll send Ms. Borges over for you. Ashley Borges. We'll see. So I'm thinking there was a problem, Ms. Rice.
There was, yes. She was, Ms. Burgos was in a industrial area and I just didn't think it was safe because she had ear coverings on. And I suggested she go somewhere else and then we got disconnected.
Okay, well, we'll see if she calls back, but let's move you forward with, excuse me, Hector Sierra Cortez. So Mr. Sierra Cortez, I'm going to send you over to that meeting with Ms. Rice.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Should move on over. Hi, Ms. Borges.
Yes, I was kicked out of the
No, what
break
she
room.
did was asked you to get in a safer situation because you were in an industrial area with headphones, and for court, we really need to be able to hear better. So you're back in queue and you'll be next. Okay, so just wait a moment. Okay. You know, I used to have my name. Didn't I? I don't know. Wonder where that went. Okay, Ms. Rice. And let's see. There we go. Mr. Sierra's in the meeting as well. Are we heading, Ms. Rice, if I could hear from you first, are we heading to resolution or toward trial?
We've reached resolution, Your Honor. Mr. Sierra has accepted a plea agreement and the state's requesting to reduce his fine to $20 plus court costs for a total of $154. He indicated that he can make payment around like on the 1st because he gets paid on the 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll talk with him just a few minutes further. Ms. Borges was able to get on, I believe, more safely. And she's here. Let's see if she can get on screen. Ms. Borges, could you unmute and could you get onto the screen so that we can see you? And because I need to make sure you're actively here before I move you into a meeting. I was having some trouble there because her screen was freezing up on us. So I'm just trying to make sure. Hi. Okay, ma'am, can you hear me? So we're just having some difficulty. We're just hearing sounds. I'm going to ask you to just disconnect, try to reconnect.
Second hear you.
We're not really hearing you very well. I just heard you come in a little bit better. Are you there? There we go.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hopefully this will work. You're freezing on my screen and there's no movement. I don't know quite the connection. It's a connectivity issue on your side. Okay, let's keep moving forward and she'll hopefully get back in or we'll have to call her at the end.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Judge, just real quick for Mr. Sierra's case. He may be indigent. I'm not sure if he is. The state will, I think money was a concern. So states would request a deferral in that case.
I'll sort it out with him.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm going to move you forward with Ms. Henry.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. So I don't know if Ms. Borges can hear me, but we're just not effectively communicating with you. And I need
Yes,
to.
I can.
I know you're saying you can hear me, but the trouble is I'm not really hearing you. I hear little snippets and sounds, but you're freezing on the screen. I'm thinking the best solution, because it's a connectivity issue on your side, is for you to disconnect yourself and reconnect. So I'm going to assume that we're not connected because you're frozen on the screen and I can't hear you. I'm going to remove you from the meeting, but I want you to dial back in. I'm trying to solve, the problem with you. Mr. Sierra, can you unmute so we can talk a little bit?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you very much. Give me just a quick moment. What I'm seeing from your financial application is that you were moving, you don't have income at this time. Are you working now? Because that was a few weeks ago.
I'm retired.
Okay. Well, that's great news. So that's a fixed income, of course. And it does look like I need to dive down a little deeper. Give me just a quick moment.
Okay, Judge.
Look at that. Are you the only income to your home?
My wife, she worked, but she's not making a lot of money though. Basically, I'm the one to run the biggest percentage of the housing expenses.
Okay. Where does she work?
She works at Seton Hospital.
And what does she do at Seton?
Medical record.
Okay. What is her take-home pay like?
She make, let me see.
about what expense is about 1,400 a month.
Okay. Do y'all receive any other assistance, like food stamps or anything like that?
No, no.
Okay, does she have a car payment as well, or is it just the one car payment?
We got 2 car payments.
Okay, I have one listed here, but I can't
Yeah,
tell.
that's my expenses.
Okay,
I thought it was only mine.
yeah, well, it's, I'm just trying to tell, if I order and do the reduction and get you to 154 total, is it a fact for you that you could make payment by March 1st?
Yes, because that's what I get paid. My pension comes on the 1st of each month.
Okay, all right. So I will just set it up that way, and we should have that reflected in our system within a few minutes, okay? We can do that reduction here. I don't think so. I didn't hear it. So let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it your understanding that you're on a deferred at that point, or is this just, you're just paying it?
Is that financially, that's the only option that I can afford, is that if I go for more money, even if I
You don't need to pay more money to get a deferred.
uh
Are you asking for a deferred to keep it off your record?
I would like to keep it on the record, but the lady that was talking said that in order to get that one, it's going to be on my record anyway. And
What is your plea to the charge at this time?
in the beginning was not guilty because
Right.
I didn't. The way that the things
Can I
happened.
stop you for just a moment? Because I really need this question answered.
Okay.
What is your plea at this time to the red light charge with the reduction to 154?
I guess it was guilty. Yeah.
Okay, guilty or no contest?
Yes.
Okay, and you're asking for a deferred?
Yes.
Okay, I will grant your deferred. And it is 154, payable on the 1st of March. And, but I'm gonna need to collect your signature on the document. Can you
Okay.
come by this morning?
Sure. Yeah, I can stop by.
Okay, we'll have your paperwork at the front, and it's a deferral. And so as long as you don't get more tickets. Now, was there an accident?
No, this is the first ticket in like 35 years that I have. This is
Okay, all right. We'll have the deferral at the window for you to sign, and then your payment will not be due till March 1st, and the payment should be 154.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. You're good to go, but we'll see you later in an hour or less.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sometimes there's confusion about, I did not hear her say it. Okay, because he did not think so. So let's just clarify it in the direction that's favorable to the defendant. Ms. Rice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you were working with Ms. Henry, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And were y'all able to come to a resolution, or are we heading to trial?
We reached a resolution, Your Honor.
Okay,
The state's requesting to do a deferral for Miss Henry's case. It'll be a 120-day deferral. I haven't talked about when she could make payment, except that it wouldn't be today. It is an insurance card, so the state's requesting to have her insurance on file. Her current insurance card is only good through June 3rd, and 120 days would be June 10th, so she may have to update her card. Well, she will have to update her card sometime in that deferral period, but she's aware of it. I spoke to Ms. Henry about it.
okay. Thank you very much. I can get that ready with her. Ms. Borges is back on. It looks like she's in a more maybe appropriate setting. I don't know. Ms. Borges, can you unmute and talk to us? I'm not sure that you
I'm at
can.
the office.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here.
We can try. I'm still struggling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear bits and pieces of you. It's better. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
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 And Ms. Henry, I'll be right with you.
All right, because I'm trying to connect to the.
Ms. Henry, I'm actually showing that I should change this to community service instead of payment. If we did that, if you elected to do that, it would be 14 hours. It would not be due till the middle of your deferral, which would be April 12th. How does that sound as an option for you?
Well, so I don't know if you received my email
I did.
to let you guys know that my mom had passed. And
Right.
so she lives in Florida. So I am now the owner of the house that she left after she passed. So I would be transitioning to Orlando. Am I able to complete my community service in Orlando and send it back to you some way?
Yeah, so it's kind of like the lady earlier, if you were listening, in Albuquerque, Florida,
Right.
so no different. You can do community service in the community where you are living. The only concern I have here, and I don't mind, but with a deferral, to keep you on the deferral, we're gonna need to get those hours within 60 days.
Okay.
It sounds like you have a lot going on. One thought is just to get it done here in town before you leave, because it's only 14 hours. I don't really have an opinion about where you do it, as long as it's a nonprofit under law and it's properly documented and verifiable. So either any of that's good.
Okay.
When can we get you up here to sign your final documents?
I can come today.
Okay, yeah. What time today?
Can I come about 1?
Yes.
Maybe 1:30?
That would be perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. Just that one. Ms. Rice, let me hear from you.
I'm sorry, Miss Burgos, it just keeps on going in and out. I don't think we're going to be able to communicate, so I think we'll just have to meet in person.
Yeah. Ms. Borges, we're going to have to see you in the courtroom on March 23rd.
Well, can you hear me now?
No. Yeah, I really can't hear you. It's literally just like it's an echo sound. So that's why we set two meetings. There's a variety of things that we can address that way. They're scheduled for March 23rd at 2 o'clock. You just for that day.
And there's no way I can go in later on today?
So your case is contested and you've pleaded not guilty, and there's a mandatory meeting with the prosecutor, which we have really been trying to make happen with you all morning. And I'm not even sure that I'm thinking you can hear me, but we can't hear you. And it's not a meeting if both parties can't be heard. So we're gonna need to do this in court on March 23rd. Ms. Rice, I'm gonna move you forward with OB Falkenberry. I'm sorry, Ms. Falkenberg. Ms. Falkenberg, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm moving to that meeting, okay?
Hello?
I'm moving you over to that meeting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Burgess, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you go about your work day, and we'll plan to see you in court March 23rd at 2.
It's gonna be at 2 o'clock or
It's gonna be at 2 o'clock.
or maybe later.
No, it's going to be at 2 o'clock. That's your court time.
Okay, okay.
You need to.
I'm not trying to miss too many hours, because like I said, I just got this job, so I'm not trying to lose it or anything.
No, but you also have this ticket, and we have to follow the law, and that means the due process clause means that we have a pretrial process. And that means we schedule you for court, and you need to be here on time or
Okay,
early.
if y'all could have seen me in person today, I would have went today.
We aren't doing in-person hearings today. We're doing online hearings today. That's why we have.
I guess I'll just see you on March 23rd then.
That's correct. Bye-bye. Yes. I think she knows she has to supplement, and it just needs to say additional insurance should be provided. And have it go ahead and be provided by the beginning of, well, that end date is the 12th, right? No, the end date is June 9th. So I would say we need it by May 10th. Because otherwise we don't have a way to enforce it. We might as well not do it if we're not going to enforce it. That makes sense. Okay. Yes, Ms. Rice. Ms. Falkenberg, have we come to a conclusion? Ms. Rice?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're working towards a resolution, Your Honor. So we could just keep Ms. Falkenberg on her final pretrial date. We may reach a resolution prior to that point.
Okay, so Ms. Falkenberg, what I always tell people, it's the same thing. The day prior to that date, which is March 23rd at 2:00, call in, and if the case is still pending, then assume you need to be here, okay?
Okay,
Thank you very much, and you're good to go for now, okay?
thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, and Ms. Rice, I'm moving you forward with Mr. Flowers. Mr. Flowers, I'm moving you into the pretrial room at this time. You'll want to unmute on your way in. Hi.
Melissa's upstairs?
She is. We had a gentleman named Kevin something on the, he's decided to, Kevin Pierce. Oh, Mr. Pierce, you're driving a vehicle online on the screen. The law doesn't allow that. I'm going to have to remove you. You're going to have to pull over and dial in. No. Well, he keeps driving on screen and staring at the screen while he's driving. So I don't allow people to commit a violation on screen. It's like, I don't know. Yes, and he was kicked off once after logging in for the first time at 11:40 when court started at 9 o'clock. I think he might need to reschedule to a more convenient time for him, but you know, this is court. It's not. He can pull over and try to log in. And if I see that he's not breaking the law on screen, I'll let him stay in the meeting. But we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. So he'll have to request an extension if he doesn't make it. Ms. Rice?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flowers? Are we heading to resolution? Or are we heading to trial?
We've reached a resolution, Your Honor.
Okay.
State's requesting to reduce the fine amounts for Mr. Flowers' cases both by half, but with the court costs. So for the first one, the state's requesting to reduce to $250 for the fine. And then I know the court costs are $320.30, but the case went into warrants. So I think that those may change.
Right, the warrants are a cost.
Right.
So I can't get rid of them.
Oh, I know you can. I just thought that they were like a percentage of the fine.
No.
Oh, okay, well then never mind.
Percentages are if it went into collections.
Oh, okay.
And those change, those adjust when reductions happen.
Okay.
On everything, but the court costs that are assessed as court costs cannot be changed. The percentage of collection fees, that happens, you know, if he's gone into collections, which it looks like on some of these, maybe that has happened. Anyway, I will assume that you're reducing his fines on all the pending cases in half.
Yes.
And Mr. Flowers, I will assume that your plea on those cases as part of the plea bargain has changed to no contest. And then we'll get you a number, and then you and I need to sit down and figure out what you're doing. So stay handy. Ms. Rice, I'm going to move Mr. Tibbetts into the breakout room, and Mr. Tibbetts was just on screen. I know he's there, so I'm just going to assume that he's coming back on.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Your Honor. For Mr. Flowers, he said that he needed a note for his works.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll work on that with him.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Flowers, unmute, but stay handy. I just need to talk to this person who's logging in driving.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. Pierce. Mr. Pierce? Mr. Pierce, can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Trying to figure out why you're logging on at 11. I saw you the first time at 11:40 when court started at 9. You're almost,
well,
almost done with court.
I'm in a different time zone, and I didn't recognize the time difference. I didn't realize the time difference.
We're in the time zone that you were in when you got the ticket.
In Central.
Yeah, we're in Central Time here, like we were.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll allow it, but you know, I just need you to understand there's a final pretrial scheduled for this case coming up, and that's live here in court. So just be aware that, you know, I expect people to be on time to court, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Flowers, just kind of getting back to your case. Just give me one moment. I need to look at one part of my file. Hold on just a second, okay?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Mr. Flowers, what are we doing on his cases that are not? Yes, you anticipated me. Okay. Mr. Flowers?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So we're going to do those reductions and add them to your payment plan. And the two cases, one is they're both no fresh water provided. They're two different dates that you talked with Ms. Rice about. He's reducing the fines in half. Then you'll adjust the collection fees, and then we'll add them to your payment plan. The payment plan will not go up. It's just going to last longer.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to change that, you can always drop some chunks of money at it to have it happen, you know, more quickly. But I honor the agreement that you made with Ms. Rice, and just a little bit of the morning to complete that. And then can you come by this afternoon so you can sign your new payment arrangement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
So will I also have that letter from my job when I come up there?
Yes. So when you come by the court, then they'll give that to you. Okay.
Yes,
so how about 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, we'll see you at 1.
Yes, ma'am. You have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers.
Thank you. He's cool. I like that.
That's a nice thing over here. I wish they'd tell people. It's appreciated regardless. Okay, let's see. She's in with one person. Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't here at the beginning. So what you're waiting on is the pretrial docket, and Ms. Rice has been in another meeting, and you'll be sent to that meeting room in a moment, okay? So Mr. Tibbetts, Ms. Rice, if y'all could both unmute. And Ms. Rice, are we heading to resolution? Or are we heading to trial?
We've reached resolution, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Tibbetts had previously pled to a no insurance charge that was related to this. And so because of that plea, state's going to request a dismiss because he pled no contest to the other, and I will send over that form later.
Okay, I will treat that as a plea bargain. When you send that to me, I will sign it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and so then, Mr. Tibbetts, all you need to do is just honor the payment arrangement that you have on the other matter, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sounds good. We'll send a copy of that dismissal.
Okay.
Once I have signed it, they'll send a copy to your email.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Rice, Mr. Pierce is here. He was not here earlier, but I'm allowing him to appear. We had a discussion about court and so forth, and now he's ready to meet with you. Mr. Pierce, that's moving you. I'm going to move you into that pretrial room. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can I ask a question? Just, I think he missed it last time. He made that same thing. And what time is this? Oh, never mind. It's 3 o'clock. Okay. Who has one now? I think I got a letter from him saying.
So Officer Bench called me maybe 30 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said he gave Chief a better SOP before he left. So
Okay.
he's gonna call Chief and tell Chief I might need that,
Okay.
because it was very detailed, he said.
Okay, because we have one that Bruce Smith provided. That was, they didn't like it. It was too detailed because it would be handy to look at. Dana has it and it spells out a lot of details. That said, there's room to grow and change and shift, and things have certainly changed a lot since either of those gentlemen were doing this particular event. So I want your input as we go along. Yeah.
So Dana,
And we're still live on court, just by the way, so you know that we're broadcasting over the internet. Yeah. Okay, sounds fine. So I think we should have policy discussions until we have policies to give out. Otherwise, it's confusing to folks. And we have a hearing on Tuesday at 10, right? I think I signed that warrant yesterday. Thanks. Yes.
So we're working towards a resolution, Your Honor. I think we should resolve it pretty shortly. If we could just leave Mr. Pierce on his final pretrial date, we should have it resolved within a few days.
Okay, that would be good. The final pretrial date is a live court date, and that is going to be April 23rd at 3 o'clock would be your appointed time. If the cases are not resolved, meaning I have all the paperwork I need to move the case to a closed point, then you'll need to be here. So what I always tell everyone is call the day before, and if it is still considered pending, that means you need to be here. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Thank you, Ms. Beck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll let you go.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.